Light and Dark, The Adventures of Dark Yagami. Chapter 5! We meet Yotsuba and Matt. Flashback yesterday! Flashback yesterday! Matt got on his motorbike and was racing across the country faster than a speeding bullet. His goggles were flapping in the wind and his mission was clear. He would revenge the death of Mello if it was the last thing he did. He went even faster on his motorbike because it would be dark soon, and he couldn't see anything except the light bits because of his headlights. It was a 3,000-mile drive, and the speed limit was like 30, and he knew that if he was going to get to where the action was at, he would have to be going fast, and went faster. Suddenly, he stopped suddenly. He saw the taillights of a Porsche up ahead, and the driver was laughing like mad, and something about the car just didn't seem right somehow. He stepped on it and did a wheelie because the road was abandoned, and because he was going fast, the wind running past his ears like a NASCAR on steroids, only faster. He got out his gun and shooted at the back window of the Porsche. It shattered and swerved all over the road, and Matt had to yell, "What are you doing, you f***ing psycho?" and jumped in the back window. The driver was a tall, skinny man with greasy hair called Yotsuba, and he was laughing and driving and writing something in his book as he drove. Matt looked at the book even closer and he noticed something to his horror. It was a death note! Flashback! A bit later that day! Later, as Yotsuba got to the end of the road, Matt made his move and he jumped in driver's seat and grabbed the wheel. Yotsuba screamed like a little girl, only manlier because he was big and covered his face with his arms. The car crashed into a wall and exploded in a ball of flame. One of the drivers died instantly and the other stole the death note and jumped back on his motorbike and drove off. It was... You'll have to find out later. P! Present day! Light, what the fucking hell were you fucking doing killing Noami and Mikami? Screamed Dark as he punched Light in the gut really hard, and Light screamed, "I had to do it, or they would have said our names to the police, and we'd be arrested." He replied, "Oh, okay," said Dark, climbing down a bit and putting his shirt back on. "But we need to take more care in the future," Dark added as Light rubbed lotion on his sore tummy. Blood came in the doorway. "I have bad news. Matt survived the car crash," he said madly as he chowed down on a blood banoffee pie that Misa had made earlier because he was a good cook from the TV, at least in the movie. "What car crash?" said Light. His gut was really hurting and also it was bruised bad too. "Oh, didn't I tell you my death notes can also kill people in the past, and I'm going to write his name in it in the future to kill him in the past to stop him stealing the death note," said Dark, pointing to his royal death note. "Then why is Blood telling me now, not in the future?" Light said as he scratched his head. "It's one of those time paradox that they have in Back to the Future," Dark replied and picked up his death note. He picked up the death note and wrote, "Matt dies yesterday in a car crash," and the death note glowed a funny color which meant it was doing stuff in the past. Meanwhile, in the past! Suddenly, Matt was back in the car, and before he knew what the hell was happening, he jumped and grabbed the steering wheel and the car crashed again. But this time, Yotsuba survived, and they climbed out just before there was a big explosion that was like 10 times the size of a normal explosion, because the death note had done magic to it and threw bits of Matt all over the road. It was a sick sight, not least because the bits of Matt were squishy in places, and his goggles were on fire, and so was his hair, and there was blood all over the road, which made Yotsuba lose his lunch, and that made things even sicker. Yotsuba picked up Matt's psp and decided to take it with him to play with on the train. He laughed evilly again and took Matt's motorbike and drove to the railroad where he took a train to Lightstown. Back in the future! Elle looked at the death note Sayu had stolen from Misa. There were some rules in front, but he figured out how it worked anyway because he was a genius and worked it out. He picked up a pen from the desk and said, "Time to test this bad boy out." He opened the book and wrote... Light's mom! Next chapter coming soon, and it will be pretty intense, so watch it! Also review, please!